This is a video response to Bark Lord and a video I made about shamanism. I don't know much about shamanism, so I just want to, actually before I start, let me just show you this view. I'm sitting on the side of a hill here. I've got a view out of that, just make sure I've got it all in. Just absolutely gorgeous. I'm very fortunate, you know what I mean, to be able to do this. I've got my dog with me, see, there he is. The not dead dog, it's cool. Anyhow, shamanism, yeah. As I say, I don't know much about shamanism, but I was intrigued with this one comment you make there, which is to do with, well, you explain shamanism in terms that I don't fully understand, but that's fine. And then you start talking about it in terms of the unconscious processing. And I found that really interesting. What you seem to be saying there, and I may be misinterpreting, what you seem to be saying there is that there is a way of, how do you phrase it? You say something like becoming one with the natural world, or maybe one with the universe. This idea of becoming one with, you know, which is I always regard as a bit of a cliche, but I know what you mean. I can't think of a better way of putting it other than in that well-worn phrase, really. That it's a sense of an undividedness, or in a sense of recognizing or feeling part of an organic whole. It's that kind of sense, I'm sure you're getting that. And I think that the fact that it's sensible, you know, capable of being sensed, I think is important. Because I've certainly had that sensation myself. And it is a sensation, and it undoubtedly reflects a reality, because we are undoubtedly locked into all kinds of natural systems, you know, chemical, biological, physical, energetic. I don't go for the metaphysics myself, but other people might choose to interpret other kinds of systems as well. We are undoubtedly locked into that, but it doesn't feel like that most of the time. I think it's probably fair to say. It feels like we are, you know, ghosts in the machine, or ghosts in the organic whole, and quieting the conscious mind for a while, so that you have some kind of sensation of this undivided singularity. Yeah, I can see the attractions of that. Although I have to say, I do have some reservations as well. I mean, partly it's to do with something I was talking about in a recent video. You know, the natural world isn't always a great place. You know, it is red in tooth and claw, and it is destructive, and there's a lot of redundancy about it, and a lot of, you know, it's built out of it isn't just built out of nice chemistry and nice physics. It is also built with some fairly nasty biology and some fairly crude psychological tools. So I am a little bit reluctant to become whole with something that is as toxic in many ways as that. You know, if the natural world was an ideology, it would be pretty fascist. I'm not sure I want to give myself over to a fascist ideology, even if it is, you know, as beautiful as this one that I seem to be surrounded by right now. So part of me is to do with that. And then it's just, I guess attached to that is this other thing to do with consciousness. You know, consciousness, by which I'm specifically talking about the thing I'm using right now when I'm speaking, not the thing that's stopping me falling over, or the thing that's pumping my blood around my body, but the bit of my mind that kind of knows it's alive and awake and is able to report on that. I mean, that's the bit that's put into quiescence, I think, when we are, I don't know, one with everything, as Alan Watts says, or whatever. You know, it's that kind of sensation. But I'm not sure if I want that put into quiescence. I'm not, or maybe it's just maybe just resting it is enough. I don't know. Yeah, and this other thing is to do with the unconscious, because it's a difficult word anyway, isn't it? It's very contaminated and multivalent, and it's hard to detach the unconscious from dreams. I think you mentioned dreams. Do you mention dreams in your video? I think you do. I mean, I thought that was really interesting, because, you know, if we are one with everything, what is this dream stuff? You know, things that are one with everything don't have this second layer of activation in which different kinds of symbols merge and clash I'm assuming trees don't dream. I might be wrong, but I'm assuming they don't. I'm assuming rivers don't dream. But we do, and it seems as if, and animals do, I know dogs do, and other animals do. So it seems there must be something there going on about, I don't know, some different kind of systemic thing that's happening, which isn't just about being one with everything, but about, I don't know, other kinds of possibilities, other kinds of processes going on. Or maybe I like moire patterns. I really like moire patterns. You know, when you get two diffraction gratings that cross at funny angles and you get this weird moire pattern. You know, maybe there's something about that. I mean, I sometimes think about dreams in that way. That they're almost a moire pattern formed by the natural processes of the body just keeping itself alive and awake, and the cognitive representations of that, which forms one grating, and then there's this other grating which is to do with all this rational thing we do, and this conceptual and abstract organising and processing that we seem to do. And sometimes when these things cross, there's this weird confabulations take place. That's kind of how I see dreams sometimes. I'm not sure that's got anything to do with what you were saying though, Bark Lloyd. Yeah, I suppose that's all I've got to say in this ramble, which is just about, I don't know much about shamanism, but if the unconscious is about suppressing the conscious mind or doing something with it to allow other kinds of processes to form our sensation, then I can see the attractions of that, but I think it's a seduction as well as an attraction. Maybe it's what Gary calls an addiction, and that seduction, attraction, addiction is potentially with something that's quite fascistic and well worth moving out of, perhaps. Anyway, that's enough. Thanks very much.